All right. Well, welcome to Parenting Through the Coronavirus. This is number 20. Can you believe it?
Well, since I haven't really
Wow.
been part of all of them, yeah, I can believe it.
Yeah,
What's
20. 20 days in a row.
20 days in a row you've been podcasting about what to do and how to parent.
Webinaring,
Meanwhile,
podcasting
I've
too.
been doing all the
Double.
parenting.
What? No, I don't think so.
My head's down because, while this is going on, I'm restraining my guitar.
Well, put it up so everybody can see. He's revisiting an old hobby, and I'm gonna go get our cat.
We just escaped. The cat decides to, whenever the back door is open, obviously we're coming from the backyard, whenever the back door is open, the cat opens the door and decides that he wants to become an adventurer. So that's what we have to constantly be on the lookout for him to run away. So thankfully she was able to catch him this time. And doing this the right way or the wrong way? Anyway, so
That was funny.
yeah, parenting your cat through the coronavirus.
That is probably harder than parenting the kids
Sometimes, yes.
because the cat likes to explore the great blue yonder.
Yeah, he's a traveler.
Yeah.
He likes to make himself known to the world.
Yes. Or
to the
make
inside
the
of the
world
walls.
or make the world known to him.
So,
well, it's interesting that you picked up this guitar because one of my clients also picked up his guitar over the past few days.
Nice.
And he said he hadn't played it for over a year because, quote unquote, life got too busy.
Yeah.
And now we've got nothing but time on our hands.
We are all finding out about how much opportunities there are to do all those things that you never had time to do before, or that you kept putting off, or just, I could do that, but it would take me an hour to get set up, and then it might take this long to do it. And now suddenly, you know what? You have time. Go do it.
It's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about how the coronavirus and the blessings and tribulations of it, but for us, I think we've really found a way to have it be generally a very productive time.
And I think we can't overstate, I never know which one of those to say, but we have our health. Everyone in this house.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we can it's easy to find the blessings when you're healthy.
Right.
And your loved ones are healthy.
Yeah.
I know it's much harder if I know a bunch of people who are recovering from the virus, and it's not so easy for them. They're working each day just to feel well enough to get out of bed. So, yeah, it is definitely a scary time out there in the world. I almost think that, like, we've insulated ourselves like 98% in this house. We have one family member going to the grocery store, which is your brother,
right?
Because he worked out in his job the longest, and he was exposed to the public, well, not the public, but out in the world the longest in his job, and so he stepped up to be the designated grocery shopper. So other than that, we really don't go out. Nobody needs gas because we're not driving anywhere.
Right.
And thankfully, we don't have any direly important doctor's appointments or anything. My physical therapy is on hold. I'm trying to convince our pediatrician to do telehealth well visits for the kids. I haven't succeeded yet, but I think I might reign victorious this week. I have a feeling they're wearing down. Yeah. I was talking with my neighbor yesterday about it, and of course there are probably legal ramifications to seeing kids or anybody over the video call or a telephone call or something, but when I asked a week or two ago if we could just do a telehealth well visit, the lady at the office told me we're not yet doing well visits as telehealth, only other visits.
Oh, well,
And I said,
other ones.
but that makes no sense because thankfully our two kids who are due for their well visits are healthy. I mean, healthy as horses. They're super healthy. Thank God.
Right.
They don't have allergies. They don't have illness. They don't have injury. They don't have any chronic anything. They're not due for vaccinations. They don't need anything. I mean, they literally could get on the phone. The doctor could ask standard questions. And aside from doing their blood pressure and their weight and stuff like that, I mean, they could get a clean bill of health over the phone. I don't understand why a well visit is not considered telehealth appropriate, but a sick visit is. If you're sick, don't you want to be seen by the doctor?
Maybe it's the extra liability that goes along with that being a kid. And there's probably also waivers in place for HIPAA. I remember when this all started going down early on, and I was listening to CNBC, and they said something about they relaxed HIPAA requirements for telehealth on Corona.
Right. Well,
so I think
probably can't as easily.
They probably haven't done that. Well, or more importantly, those HIPAA relaxation isn't HIPAA relaxation. The relaxation of the HIPAA probably doesn't apply to
minors,
non-Corona cases. So they still have to maintain the HIPAA stuff if it's not Corona.
And I also know that the once a year well visit may be the only chance a doctor gets to lay their eyes on their patient and make sure that they're well cared for. There are no unexplained bruises, or they're not suffering from depression that's been undiagnosed or something like that, because I know they've changed a bunch of the standard questions that they ask the kids at their visits. So I do understand that, but I almost think that just for a month, they could just do telehealth, or maybe on a case-by-case basis. If they've never had a red flag that they're concerned about, either with the welfare of the child or the health of the child, which our kids would never have fallen into that category, maybe they could just make an exception, because I really don't want to burst our seal. Like, I don't want to take them out.
Who cares? Just don't do it. Why? Just cancel the appointment and say we'll do it in 3 months.
Well, the problem is you can only do it once a year. So once you get past their birth date, it gets later and later. And each year they can't have it on their birth date because that's a Saturday. They can't have it till Monday. And then the next year they have to have it the Tuesday. But then Tuesday's booked and they can't have it till Thursday.
There is no reason in the world. There's no reason in the world they should be going to those appointments if they're not going to do them. Just say, all right, well, you know what? If you're not going to do it, then we'll just cancel and we'll see you when they give the all clear.
Yeah, I mean, I probably will do that, but I'm still trying to advocate for the telehealth, because the kids have sports, the kids have summer camp, like there are paperwork requirements, and they're not due right this minute, but
where they need to sign off on it.
Like their physical from last year is expiring, and it will no longer be acceptable for their school sports or their summer camp until they get a new one. So we have probably until mid-June, I guess, to get these done. But it's not like we can just say, see you in September, because that will impact both of them negatively. So whatever, that's it's not the end of the world, but it's certainly something that has been impacted by the coronavirus and the stay-at-home orders and all that kind of stuff. So that's been interesting. What else for you?
I guess we should talk about the store.
Yeah, there's a big development there.
Which I don't know if anyone would even know what the heck that means, because I'd never been on it before. I don't know if you mentioned my store in any of the...
I might make this our Friday podcast episode, so you can tell the viewers here about the store, and then the podcast listeners will already probably know about it.
So in September of last year, I opened a retail store in Mount Holly, New Jersey, in a cute little
Adorable.
shacky little building
So
that
cute.
was
Just
a
super cute.
yeah, it was going to be it was a comic shop selling used comics, back issues only. It was a art gallery with comic art on the walls, and then it was a teaching space where I conducted art lessons in how to. Well, Faith is joining us.
Hi, Faith.
Gonna go back in now, aren't you?
Yeah, get in the camera.
So, and then conducting comic art lessons in the shop. So,
Because we should mention that you're a comic artist
I'm a comic book artist.
in your free time, which you have had none of. But
Yeah, I was a comic book artist, and anyway, so and comic creator and all that stuff, publisher. So, opened the store and had a blast running it for the first 4 or 5 months. But because of the time commitment at this particular shop, it's part of a co-op, which is why the rent is reasonable and affordable for a shop like this, and the complications of my day job. I was finding myself working 7 days a week,
literally 7 days a week.
literally 7 days a week, and 10 hours a day, and then between coaching the kids
and it was
volleyball.
certainly fun. There were aspects of it
Yeah,
that were very fun for you.
I mean, I had a great time. I had met a lot of awesome people, taught some great students. Met a really good friend who I'm now collaborating on a book with. But in the process of all of this coronavirus stuff going on and having all that free time open up in front of me, I realized just how much my free time had been swallowed up by the store, and that I wasn't using that time to create anymore. It was just, okay, well, I'm at the store and I'm a retailer and thinking about those elements, which were cool in the teaching element of things, but that's not, I didn't get into quote unquote comics in order to be a comic retailer. I got into comics because I wanted to be a creator. I wanted to be tell stories and all that kind of stuff. So we made a decision the other day that I was going to close up. Well, not close up because we're not currently open at the store, but I was going to
not
reopen at the back end of this because of all those things that we just talked about. So, which has been a decision that has definitely been fraught with some
blow-ups.
Yeah, just it's tough. I mean, I don't know. I find it hard to, in some regards, just kind of turn my back on something that I've done, and I feel in some cases like, quote unquote, I failed in terms of that task. But you've been really great in trying to make sure I understand that it's less about having failed at that task and more about just saying, hey, this is not what I wanted to do. This is not what I had gotten into this for. So that has been something that in the past few days has occupied a lot of my time, I know. So
yeah, it's definitely not a failure. It goes back to what I say all the time, that time is precious. It's your most precious resource.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that is a finite amount, and you can waste it or you can invest it. Right. You can't save it because it's going by minute by minute, second by second every day. So there's no hoarding time. There's no saving it. There's no putting it off to use it later.
You can't save time?
No.
You can't do a podcast and
well, you can get double duty out of your time. Yeah, you could do that, but you can't save it. You can waste it or you can invest it. And so I think when you look at how you're spending your precious time and you realize it's not quite hitting the mark and you decide to pivot, and
Pivot.
aim your arrow
Pivot.
more towards the target,
Pivot.
then how can that be a failure? How can that be anything other than a success? Because you're aiming more closely, more accurately towards your target and investing your time, your precious time, into something that's closer to being in alignment with what you want.
Right. Well, anyway, so that's kind of big news for me, I guess, is that is kind of going on. And
So now we have a lot of boxes to move back and forth. Right?
mm-hmm.
That's going to be fun.
Well,
but it'll be good exercise. We get to go out. Yay. But we're not going out in public because the store has been shuttered since before the governor put the mandate down, maybe 2 weeks before. We decided it was not a good idea to continue having it open. It was not an essential business, and there was no reason to have the public in and out, shaking hands and touching things. And so it's been shuttered probably for maybe 6 weeks now.
Yeah.
So our going back and forth, well,
5 weeks.
Your lovely assistant, after we shuttered it, she came in. She was feeling quite nervous one day and worried and stressed about the virus. So she came in and disinfected the whole thing and made it like an operating room. When we went in a couple days later, I think to get the printer.
Oh my God, the smell in there was amazing.
It was so clean smelling. It smelled so disinfected. So we know that space is very clean, very unimpacted by the virus. We'll go back and forth and haul boxes back and forth, and it'll be fun to get out, get in the car and actually go somewhere and still do it in a way that's not violating any rules or anyone's health and safety, which is very important.
Yep.
So
big
exciting.
Change.
Yeah, so I guess we should probably wrap this up and go start hauling boxes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for today. I'll see you here same time tomorrow.
See ya.